women, I'm fighting for you.
I know somebody like that too, right there. Right.
Really? I don't understand. Where's he ever been charged with?
Oh no, he had never been charged. He hadn't been charged, but you know he did it. I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, billionaire has likes good-looking women.
You don't believe those women?
Believe what women?
That said that he harassed them?
No.
Really?
Not in the slightest.
Oh, I do.
And you know why? Know why?
No, I don't.
Because I've talked to 17 people out here that personally know that man, and one woman that dated him. And every single person I've talked to that has had personal contact with that man has gave me a positive story about him.
Really?
Every one of them. The guy that put his first pipes in his first building, how he negotiates.
I'll be right home.
I talked to 2 of his Secret Service agents.
I just don't believe they're all lying. Trust me, I voted for him. Yeah. I just don't. I'm turned on him. I'm turned on him because of his rhetoric. I know he's doing a lot of good things, and I heard you talk about North Korea. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Finally, somebody's doing something. But I think he's an idiot. I think he just sits up there, and I'm embarrassed.
Really?
I've grown that way. I'm embarrassed for the way he talks to people. Talk about John McCain that way and stuff like that. You got to admit that.
Seriously?
Oh, I am.
John McCain. Songbird.
John McCain. Don't talk about him like that. I mean,
why not?
Did you ever read his book?
Have you ever looked up why they call him Songbird?
I have.
Okay.
I have.
So you don't believe those prisoners that were in the
have you ever read his book?
With him?
Let me ask you this. Have you read his book?
No.
Read his book before you talk about him like that.
I've
read his book twice.
Yeah, well, on top of everything else, I've read other things about him. I read his book. I don't have to read it.
Talk about it. I mean, either way, he dodged the draft, and John McCain served. John McCain served.
Yeah, and he killed a whole bunch of people.
It doesn't need to be said.
And then he made propaganda films for the Viet Cong.
Yeah.
That's why they called him Songbird.
You don't think that he's done anything wrong at all?
Oh, well, so you excuse treason?
No, I don't. You should read his book. You should read his book. I'm telling you that he shouldn't.
Well, so would that make me forgive him for the treason? Because the men that were in the Hanoi Hilton haven't forgiven him yet.
Oh, yes, they have.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes, they have. Oh, yes, they have.
And beyond that, I didn't like the recent betrayals he's had. I mean, he was the only one to stop Obamacare. And now, even at his death, he's bitter enough to go, I don't want Donald Trump at my service. I mean, how bitter do you have to be?
Well, Donald Trump's pretty bitter towards him.
Well, as I could see, for good reason.
Oh, God, you should give the guy a break, man. He served our country. He dodged the draft. Again, you can serve your country badly also. Yeah.
You can say he served the country, but I'm looking he served it badly.
I disagree. His father was decorated admiral, his grandfather.
And John McCain took full advantage of that and lived off the...
No, he could have went home. He decided not to. He could have went home.
And if they would have sent him home, then he would have been called a collaborator, which he was. And that's why he stayed, because why would he go back and ruin his reputation? But I'm sorry, man. There's a lot of things. I'm looking at...
He's an embarrassment.
Well, I think John McCain's the embarrassment. I mean, look at the man. I mean, you have a brain tumor. Get out. How the hell can you be in there still making decisions for people with a brain tumor? I'm just talking reality, for crying out loud. Step aside. Have some dignity.
That's what he should do. Let Pence take over. This is an embarrassment.
Why is it embarrassed? We've got peace with North Korea for the first time in history.
We don't have peace yet. We didn't do anything yet.
Well, we're not lobbing insults or bombs at one another. For the first time in American history, anity that wants a job can find one.
That's good. I don't know about all that because I'm not your age. I'm in my early 50s, and I haven't really thought about it like you're saying that. The economy has been getting better. Not just over the 16 months.
I mean, considering that we were on the brink of going into that abyss because this country was ready to go under after 8 years of Obama.
You think so?
Let me give you an example. About 3 years ago this September, I'm out here, a little black lady comes up.
Have you been doing this whole time?
Oh, yeah. She comes up,
What were you doing when Obama was in office?
I was against, same thing. I'm a political satirical cartoonist. I'm a political animal. So I'm a heat-seeking missile for stupidity. If you go out there and do it, I'm going to find it. But if you do something right, I'm going to expound upon that. But I know the deep state. I know how they're playing this. Most everything you hear here is a fantasy. They're not telling us the truth at all. That's the last thing in the world they're going to tell us. I spoke to him last week. Military intelligence, 10 years now. He's, for 10 years, been at the police academy in Louisiana, inspector teaching, right? I talked to a lot of cops out here. Military.
You talk to a lot of people out here.
Yeah, but I'm attracted. Military and police are attracted to this. So I get the extraordinary amount of them, more than most. Most of the time when I speak to a police still in, they're a bit coy with their answers. They got a job to lose. They got a lot to lose. This guy wasn't coy at all. I was asking him things about false flag operations. What happens when innocent cops get involved with, in the middle of these things. We start talking about like the school shootings. We're bringing up anomalies with the recent one in Florida, how there were students who had talked about other shooters, multiple shooters. The teacher that was on NBC that said the person that shot her was in full military gear, including mask. That doesn't sound like right Cruz at all. When I mentioned Sandy Hook to this guy, the first two words out of his mouth were completely staged. They play us like we're dumb. 9/11, the biggest false flag of all. 19 hijackers did not bring down 3 buildings. That's impossible. It doesn't go that way. It's physically impossible.
Really?
Really.
Why do you say that? You don't believe that? You think that was who?
Well, the deep state.
You saw the planes going in the building, or you think that was fake? Because I work with a guy that...
Let me show you something. Let me show you something.
I work with a guy that doesn't believe the moon landings.
All right, let me show you this. Okay. What you're going to be looking at here, this is building number 7. This is the 3rd building to fall in New York City on 9/11, okay? This building, from where we're standing to that brick building down there from the Twin Towers. Okay? Now I'm going to go back to the beginning and show you the damage. This is all there was. It's the only files. This is it. 47 stories tall, housed all 16 of our intelligence agencies and the mayor's emergency bunker. That thing was a fortress. Now, I want to watch it at 5:20 in the afternoon. Watch this thing collapse. Watch this thing collapse.
7-story World Trade Center, Building 7, on September.
Had moved back from that building before what you're about to see again here on videotape, knowing that fire could not be fought because of the instability of the structure.
What instability?
The fire that had burned since shortly after 9 o'clock this morning.
Dana Tyler is joining us.
Can you tell me what brought that building down?
What brought it down?
What does it look like? You got the collapses, you got the crimp, then you see the beams being blown out. Watch. Well,
if anybody out there can help, any vendors who have...
The owner of the building, so Silverstein, right, said we pulled it. We gave the orders to pull it, which is the demolition term.
What was the name of the building again?
The building is called the Solomon Building, or WTC 7. Okay. On the bottom here, you're going to see Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth. I had the honor to meet one of the original coordinators of Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth out here about a month ago. When someone puts, like that policeman I talked about, when someone puts their name on the line, their reputation and their lives on the line, they tell the truth, they become my heroes.
Why don't you see any more, like, why isn't there more news on that?
Because they're in on it, man.
Everybody?
Yes, who owns the news? It's the same guys that own the banks that own the news. It's the same guys that own our governments. They get us into these wars. Why?
I'm amazed, man. I'm amazed you think that.
Well, you think I want to think this? I'm saying I've gone through extensive state, and I've been out here for years talking to guys like policemen.
How do I keep in touch with my wife's right over there?
Yeah.
I don't want her to get activated.
This is on the back of this.
How do you make your money?
Donations.
Really?
Check that out. Email me. Look at go to Architects and Engineers. Look at the professionals that have signed their name.
And I'll stay in touch with you, all right?
You're very kind, sir. Thank you. Yeah.
You know how I've grown this way because I'm just like kids and setting examples and the way that I was raised and the way that he talks and I know he's done a lot of good things, and if you got to pick one or the other, he was the least of the bad side.
Yeah, but look at who his enemies are. Remember, there's one thing that Donald Trump said during the early in the campaign that I went, okay. It was this. This is a quote.
What?
You elect me president, and you will find out who really brought down the Twin Towers. Unquote. Now, he's a builder. The day after 9/11, they did an interview with him. And he said, there's something wrong here. I build buildings. Buildings do not fall like that. There's something wrong. There needs to be an investigation on this. Well, they never 9/11. Building number 7 wasn't even mentioned in the 9/11 report.
No, I know.
This is the third largest structural collapse in world history. We have no idea why it fell.
Really?
They haven't done a study on it.
My name is Eric.
Mike DeBerry, Eric.
God bless you, Mike.
Thank you, sir. He has.